Your network is your network. Welcome to Mindset and Marketplace, where we dive deeper into the secrets of building strategic relationships. Today I'm excited to have Sean Tapper. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invite. Glad to be here.
Sean, for those who don't know you yet, could you please tell us a bit about your background and what you do?
Sure, you got it. So my background is about 18 years in tech. I'll keep this story really short for your audience, but I built my first business in the 2000s, which was an agency. We did a lot of like websites, software, even video for small and mid-sized businesses. And how I built that business, actually, the key strategy was through networking. Went through a merger in 2010. There's a larger agency that approached me and said, "Hey, would you like to merge with us?" And I was like, "Yes." I was looking for a change anyway. It was a very hard business to build, so that was my exit strategy. Now, just a little insight here: it wasn't like a $1 million check was written. It was none of that. It was debts and liabilities wiped clean, so I got a fresh start. So then after that, I got into investing, but I also got into corporate contracting. I did a lot of work with companies like GE, Kohler, a few other smaller companies as well. But I did that for about 12 years. And that really led up to what I'm doing today, which is I created a platform that helps people, especially beginners, invest in the stock market. That it took about the context there. It took about 4 years. I built an Excel sheet just to kind of, I wanted to create like a traffic light rating system. I thought the most universally understood rating system in the world is the traffic light. So it's either
100%.
green, yellow, or red. And I did the same thing with an Excel sheet so I would know if stocks like, for example, like Apple, is Apple a good investment? Or is Microsoft a good investment? Or Tesla, so on and so forth. And used it for about 4 years. I was making really good returns between like 15 and 50%. Started sharing it with a few friends, and everybody was like, "Hey, you should turn this into a software." And I always wanted to create a software company. So yeah, that was 2019. Fast forward to today, we have a little over 11,000 customers in about 50 countries, including where you're based, Lebanon.
Awesome. Can you tell the audience what's the name of your software?
Yeah, it's called Ticker. That's spelled Tykr. You can just go to ticker.com and yeah, I'll give a quick 30 second on the business model. So we're an educational tool combined with a screener, and what that means is you can log in, you can look up any stock you want really around the world and find out, is that actually a good investment or a bad investment? And what we use is what you would call value investing. That's like Warren Buffett. It's a safe strategy. It's all about buying really financially strong businesses. We're not into day trading or get rich quick schemes or anything that can lose our customers money. We're all about being safe and responsible. But yeah, that's our model.
That's very impressive. And here I want to ask you, talking about networking and being in more than 50 countries, like I want to ask you, how did strategic partnerships help you scale to more than 50 countries?
Yeah, that's actually our main growth strategy. We call them affiliates. So how it works is anybody can join our platform and sign up for our affiliate program, which is free. And we pay 30% commission to anybody who wants to promote us. And I'll be transparent on our pricing. In the US, our pricing is like $15 a month or 99 a year. We're kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the same price point as Netflix, but we also use what's called parity pricing. I won't go too much in detail here, but parity pricing means like depending on where you're based in the world, for example, India, you're going to see the pricing in rupees, and then you're going to see a price conversion that's appropriate for your country. So, like, I think Lebanon is another one
Dollars,
where you're
yeah.
based. Yeah, France, Germany, all over Europe, but also like South Asia, like Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines. So it makes it really inviting for people. But that allowed us to, when people share Ticker with like friends in another country, they're not going to see the pricing in US dollars. They're going to see it in their
Mm-hmm.
currency. And that has made it a lot more warm and welcoming for that audience. So yeah, like a big part of my job is networking with potential affiliates. Could be like YouTubers or bloggers or other finance platforms, but those are perfect partners for us.
Awesome. I didn't think about it, to be honest. That's a
Mhm.
good strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Thank
just
you.
mentioned that you have more than 11,000 customers all
Hmm.
around the world, like in over 50 countries. How do you
Yep.
keep them? How do you attract and keep these customers?
Yeah, so the traction side is through the affiliates. The keeping them is the trick, and that's like the name of the game with a SaaS business, software as a service,
Mm-hmm.
is how do you retain your customers? And it took a long time. Like I'll be honest, the first 3 years, our platform, it was not where it's at today. It wasn't clunky, but it was like it didn't have all the features people were looking for. So we had what's called high churn. We were like over 11%. And to give you context there, a good SaaS business should be like 5.75% per month or less. So we had to make some changes with like adding new features. We also lowered our prices a little bit, so it's a little more appealing. And by doing that, we're able to lower that. It was like, I think early 2023, where we lowered it to just below like 5.5%. And now today we're averaging like 3.9%, which is really good. But again, it took a lot of engineering work to make sure when people join, there's like a watch list feature and there's
Mm-hmm.
customized alerts and there's a portfolio tracker and there's cool stuff that allows people to manage their finances, not just a tool that, hey, I can look up a stock and find out if it's good or bad. Like you need more. Like
Okay.
with my model, I found out I need to add more to it to make it stickier. So,
Yeah, you reminded me of the book Made to Stick, right?
yep,
So I didn't read this book, but I love the concept of attracting and keeping customers while giving them perks and something that means to them.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I did some research. I did a lot of research, but I found out that you are a founder of a successful bootstrapped company.
Hmm.
Yep. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so that was one thing I wanted to do with Ticker is bootstrap. And this is not glamorous at all, is you got to keep your day job. So I kept doing corporate consulting for
Mm-hmm.
3 years while building Ticker. So I actually didn't take a paycheck the first 3 years of the business. And that's hard for a lot of entrepreneurs. They want to come up with an idea and build something and then go all
Yeah.
in. It's like it does not work like that. So you gotta
Exactly.
yeah, and I wanted to retain control. I'm not a control freak per se, but I've been in situations where when you bring on investors, whether they're angel investors or venture capitalists, they can kind of steer the ship in a direction that's probably not
100%.
best for the right. It's not best for the future of the business. And I'm like, I'm okay with doing this a little slower if I retain 100% ownership and get to make those calls. Now, at this point, we've got momentum. We're moving in a direction that's going to be hard to move us off of.
Mm-hmm.
If we were approached by investors, I would entertain the conversation. Of course, I would have probably more questions for them than they do for me.
Okay, nice.
I essentially I would interview them, not so much them interviewing me. But the idea there is I want to find potentially the right investor. And if it's not a fit, it's not a fit, but they got to be aligned with where we're going.
What do you mean by the right investor, and when should entrepreneurs look for investors?
Yeah, so I recommend that entrepreneurs don't raise money right away. Let me grab water here real
Take your
quick.
time.
What I recommend is one, keep your day job. And you're going to want to talk to at least one, two, or three customers per week over like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to find out that the tool that you originally came up with in a high probability is going to turn into something you never thought it would. That's just how it works. But you got to be good at listening to customers. So you want to kind of bootstrap it, retain control, and really put the heavy lifting on the customer. And when you find eventually product market fit where people are actually paying for your product and they're staying, that's the point when if you wanted to raise money, you can do it. And at that same point, you will kind of have what I call high ground. You want
Okay.
high ground in that conversation where if you're a brand new company, an investor is going to come in, you're going to be valued at next to nothing and they're going to take 20% of your business. Like,
True.
no, you don't want to do that. You want a little more momentum. You can give up maybe 10% and get a higher valuation. It's just a much smarter way to go.
So you're saying gain traction,
Yep.
validate your market, build your prototype, and then look for an investor.
Yeah. Then look for investors. Yes.
Okay. And do you have any strategy for looking for investors, like other than networking events, conferences, maybe, or how do you do it?
Those are easy ones. I love meeting people in person. So yeah, if you can go to conferences in your local area or like networking events, you can also reach out to if you got like if you typed in like let's say a major city near you and just say investors, like where I'm based is
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee, or I'd say like Milwaukee investors, or 2 hours
True.
south of us is Chicago. I could go Chicago investors and see if there's like communities I can kind of network with in person. Other than that, I love LinkedIn. I think it's a brilliant tool. I use it every day for business. It's great for connecting with people, networking. I also use it for publishing content that's like
Mm-hmm.
educational on investing.
True.
So that's a really great place to be is LinkedIn. Utilize that tool.
Mm-hmm. I believe that it is an amazing tool too because I connected with you on LinkedIn and here we are.
Mhm. Right on.
Yeah. Um, Sha, thank you for joining us today. We've reached the end of our episode.
Mhm.
If you'd like to add something, we're ready to listen to the value you have.
Sure, sure. I'll wrap it up here. I know we talked about networking a little bit, which is like that's the number one way to build your business is you gotta be, I mean, if you're introverted, try to get over that and try to network. And then the other thing is, we mentioned on Ticker real briefly. I'm not going to do a shameless plug here too long, but like our platform, so people know if you are interested in investing, we are a free to join platform, so anybody can kind of test drive the car before they drive it off the lot, as we say. So that's it. You can go to ticker.com, and of course, questions for me directly, you can find me on LinkedIn.
We'll mention this in the description box on YouTube definitely. Thank you for tuning into Mindset and Marketplace. Your feedback helps us grow, so please leave us a comment and share your thoughts. Remember, sharing this episode with others who may benefit from our guest insights helps us spread the knowledge and strengthen the community of business leaders. Stay connected.